Cozies as one of the founding members of the knit graffiti collective called OutdoorKnit. Today, Tash is going to be talking about OutdoorKnit, knitting as a rebellion.
When I started knitting again in 2006, this is my memory of knitting. It's pretty freaking ugly. So I didn't want to knit garments. I wanted to make pretty things like scarves, but I have this really huge prejudice against novelty yarn. You can probably see why. So I learnt again, after trying and failing many times, from, of course, the internet, and huddled up by my computer in a small ski town and rebelling against everyone else who was taking up crochet, I discovered things like this. People in Sweden doing amazing things with bright colours, which I absolutely love. Turning the unexpected into something that everyone can just go, oh my goodness, what is that? That's a petrol station that a community decided looked scary, and they turned it into this amazing knitting thing. So I recruited someone that I blog stalked, and we started going out around Wellington and putting cozies on trees. And my mum got really upset about this because that yarn was meant to be a cardigan for my baby brother. And I called it ribbed for her pleasure. So we started doing these whimsical things, and as it went on, Nikki and I decided that actually we kind of meant more than what we were just doing, putting replicas of 80s jerseys on park benches. And we both had this real admiration for Wellington's incredibly talented graffiti artists. So we started kind of contrasting our work with the hard, kind of dark alleyways of Wellington's traditional graffiti locations with these knitted soft cozies that kind of give you warm fuzzies. And being in possession of a Bachelor of Arts in Art History, I started looking at the very age-old argument of craft versus art. And so that kind of tied in quite well with what we were doing, looking at craft versus graffiti, and it became a bit of a feminist thing as well. So this says, see near part in Banksy, which is when we started turning into the art aspect, like Banksy has turned graffiti into art, and it all gets really well tied together. So we took it to the streets for Cuba Street Carnival, and it was absolutely amazing. We wanted to teach people that knitting is this incredible, relaxing, stress relief pastime, and it can be amazing. It doesn't have to be those hideous novelty yarn hats. So this was a composition basically made by the people of Wellington in one day, and it stayed there for quite a long time. I was surprised. The council were very nice about it. And because everyone enjoyed it so much, it became this really community-oriented thing that we were doing. So we started going towards a bit of public reassurance, kind of contrasting again with the hardness of the graffiti. And so we started telling people they were nice. This one didn't last very long, which is not surprising because everyone likes being told they're pretty. And from the fences, we started going towards a bit of ownership about our ugly public spaces, because Wellington does have a few. So this one, most people probably have seen on Vivian Street. Nikki organised a whole lot of people to go and put hearts on it, and that's still there. And that took us to the It Will All Be Okay fence. Now this was inspired by the economic crisis, and I wasn't working at the time, and I had a little group of people. We called ourselves in the Unemployed Club, and all I heard all day was about how the world is ending because no one has any money and no one has any jobs. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to rebel against that and say, actually, it will all be okay. It might seem hard right now, but you'll be all right. You'll come out of it okay in the end. And just recently, we were commissioned by Enjoy Gallery for their 10th anniversary to put a new one up, and it said, you are doing okay. So we kind of took it from the future tense to a current tense, and it's disappeared already. So I need some people to help me to put a new one up. And during the bit where we kind of started taking possession of our urban spaces, I stopped doing tags on trees because they're pretty enough already, and decided to make our own trees out of the dowse. And this was another one where we collaborated with heaps of people, and it's awesome getting knitted things in the post. And we lit it up with the help of some wonderful crafters who have started doing things like putting lights in fluffy things. And now I've got to the point where do we go next? I started Knit Graffiti as a rebellion, and Knit Graffiti's kind of become a little mainstream, so I'm tossing up about whether I keep doing it, but people love it so much and I love it, it's just a case of watch this space.